March 2020. As the world was preparing to quarantine, I was preparing to die. Gathering documents, organizing photos, creating a PowerPoint, showing my best friend my final resting spot, starting to tell friends and family, and starting to say goodbye. My cancer was back in pretty spectacular fashion. What had once started in my breast was now in my liver, stomach, abdominal cavity, front and back, and throughout the bone marrow. Quite well traveled, this one. As you might imagine, the prognosis was grim. There were some decisions to make. The last thing I wanted to do was to fight. The first time I had cancer was over a decade ago. I did the chemo. I did the radiation. I did the surgery. I did more chemo. I even did a clinical trial, and I was considered cured. But today I was receiving the news. I wasn't. The thing that I wanted most was to spend time with my children, be with my people, before dying peacefully, and hopefully painlessly and purposefully. I packed 2 suitcases, one with clothing, the other with the baby books, and the other personal mementos. I'm in my car, gave everything else away, and I moved 2,000 miles across the country, signed a 5-month lease on a furnished beach home, with the thought that if I could hold on until July, this would give my children enough time to grieve without interfering with the end of their academic year, the start of the next. And a beach house because y'all quarantine. What a lovely place for everyone to gather. I unpacked the suitcases. We settled in. We went to the beach every day. I ate lunch from the taco truck, communed with seagulls. I argued. I argued with my maker. July came and went. I was still here. Y'all, death stood me up and I was angry. Everything was prepared, it was arranged, it was organized, I was in my peace, I had spent time with my people. I'm still here. And I was embarrassed. I'd given up my career. I had given up my material possessions. I had even given up my expectation to live. I was also ashamed. Ashamed to be alive. Because the truth is, for a year I sat on that beach, vaping my cannabis, getting high as hell, eating ice cream from the ice cream truck after tacos from the taco truck, playing with the seagulls, and still arguing with my maker. And neither he or death would take me. Eventually, I remembered the last thing I wanted to do was fight. I wanted to go peacefully. I wanted to meet my maker joyously, lovingly. The conversation started shifting. I started praying. Still sat on the beach doing all those other things, y'all, but the conversation did shift. And as I sat on that beach, I thought about that well-traveled cancer in my body. I started to understand the difference between being cured and being healed. When cancer cells leave a tumor to travel throughout the body, they do so by going to locations that will support and nourish their growth and survival. There's an analogy, an actual phrase coined in the biomedical literature called the seed in the soil to explain this concept of how these cancer cells move. I realized that my oncologist and everyone else on my medical team were highly focused on eradicating those cancer seeds, on eliminating as much of the cancer from my body as possible. But the soil? There was no one taking care of the soil. And that's because it's my job. Y'all, cancer happens in a body, but it also happens in a person. So while my medical team got really busy focusing on the cancer, I got really busy focusing on my mental, my emotional, my spiritual well-being. Because y'all, this is what healing is really about. And the beauty of it is that healing is available to everyone, no matter the diagnosis or the prognosis. Cancer is not the only life challenge. If you're human, you don't escape this experience without moving through some type of adversity, or for some of us, even full-blown catastrophe. These are times when we are in need of healing. I eventually got myself off of that beach. This time, moving across the country to a location that allows access to good medical care and to some of the most sacred and beautiful forests I've ever had the pleasure to wander. I think the biggest thing I've learned since that day in March 2020 is that I have no idea when I'm dying. But I do know I'm living. Every day I get up, and this is where my attention and intention focus. To moving forward, to finding my flow, and to co-creating with my Maker.